former LSU wide receiver Kayshon Boutte arrested in a gambling scheme. How long is it until we see a Pete Rose type of figure? We've already seen it to some extent in Calvin Ridley, but it wasn't so dastardly that he ended up out of football forever like Pete Rose. But I do think there will be a major name at some point. In the NFL, you can bet on other sports besides football. You just can't bet on football. And I think kids with NIL money are going to make stupid decisions. And I will just tell you that I hear more from my son criticizing some of his friends that are into gambling more so than drinking or drugs. I think gambling is the vice to choose nowadays for a lot of young people. I think we're going to see some bad situations before this thing levels its out and figures itself out. Sports Treasures, carrying over 5 million sports treasures and so much more. Follow them on Facebook for the best sports memorabilia, daily updates. Sports Treasures TN on Facebook. Sports Treasures TN on Facebook. What do you think, and what can you tell me about Boutte?
So Kayshon Boutte was wagering up to $600,000 allegedly, and this wasn't the only crime here is underage. Was underage gambling because he wasn't of age to gamble in Louisiana, and he was doing it under fake names. He was having people wager for him under fake names.
It was Kayshon Rear End.
No, actually, but it's honest. You know,
anybody get that? Anybody?
You may think
this mic on.
You may think that like you're being groundbreaking with a joke, and you are, but Dave, you're not going to believe this. You want to know what one of his fake names was?
Derriere.
No, Kayshon Boutte 1.
Let me ask you another question. How much money was he gambling?
$600,000, which we know is of NIL money. And this is in Louisiana.
Was it all at the same time?
It was on multiple games, including one involving LSU. Let me share a picture with you, Dave. I actually have to share a picture with you while we're on this, too.
Let's do that, because this story's a blimey cheek on Kayshon Boutte's reputation.
He was... Remember this play against Alabama in 2020? How suspicious does that look now?
That he's dropping the ball before he got... Oh, he wasn't cheating. Are you saying
I am saying
dropping the ball?
Drops the ball before he gets into the end zone against Alabama. They give him the touchdown anyway, but I don't think he wanted the touchdown because I think he bet the under that day.
Oh, you don't believe that. We got all the way through to this point in the show and no insanity. LSU fans, go ahead and call Caleb out when you're watching this, because this is Smoky Mountain Red says makes you think. Come on, there's no way.
So in all seriousness, though, Dave, what should the punishment be for him? Because I'm going to tell you this right now. I think you do too. I love the Nick Saban rant from years ago of don't condemn players for life when they make mistakes when they're underage. What do you want them to be?
Not this one.
Not this one. I think he should be banned from the NFL forever. He should never be allowed to play football again. And I don't care that he did it when he was before he turned 21. I don't care that he was young. This is the one rule I say, I'm sorry, nothing. I would say if I'm the NFL, if you bet on playing college football, you're banned for life. If you bet on the NFL, you're banned for life. He should not be allowed to touch a football field ever again.
I agree. But let me pose this question to you. What if it's Caleb Williams, a superstar?
You mean like what the NBA had to deal with in 1993 with Michael Jordan?
Yes.
I think the NFL, unlike the NBA in 93, has reached a level where they don't have to depend on any superstar anymore. Patrick Mahomes could retire tomorrow and the league would be fine.
I agree.
And
let's look at what they did. You know, they could have come down harder. This is before your time, but Paul Hornig, I think he was suspended for a season, right?
Was it Paul Hornig that was suspended for a season?
It was a Bart Starr. One of the two, now I'm throwing one under the bus that didn't deserve it, but one of the two were suspended, or maybe they were doing it together. But they were for the Packers, and they were suspended for like a year. And they were the biggest superstars then, so you had to protect them, much like Jordan of the early 90s, when I believe that he was suspended for 2 seasons to go play baseball. but that's not, football. That's not the case anymore. There's no superstars, and partly because they wear helmets. You want there to be parity across the board. I don't think there's any guy that would be able to avoid a suspension had they been caught up in gambling. And when you see that, it's pretty obvious. You see with Campbell, Cunningham, Taylor, and Haun, you enjoy life better when you see better. The local vision service for LASIK, cataract surgery, regular eye examinations, ccteyes.com, ccteyes.com. So, Caleb, thoughts?
Yeah, that's why baseball had the leverage. If this was 1920, they're not throwing Babe Ruth out of the league. Babe Ruth, was the guy who saved the league after the gambling scandal in 1919. I mean, that thing, Babe Ruth literally saved baseball by himself in the 1920s after the Black Sox scandal. And
I believe all the major sports are past the point that you would protect a guy like the NFL did with the Packers. I believe all of them are. And like you and I think that they did with Jordan, that was a hidden suspension.
yes,
I believe
because the
that
NBA needed him.
Yeah, I believe all the leagues are beyond that. I don't think Victor Wembanyama, I mean, if he did something gambling, you're gone.
They're like, that is total bullshit.
Yeah, you're not going to do
Yeah,
that.
I agree. And so I think now,
you take your Belgium fries and you take them back to France because Belgium developed them. And we named them. We named them. American soldiers named the French fries. Take that.
I gotta be honest. I think I'm glad Louisiana is bringing criminal charges because I think there should be federal criminal charges for if you bet on the sports you play.
Travis is telling me too with the Boutte thing that the game was won. He bet the under. It is possible that he dropped the ball as he was crossing the goal line. I think it's just an ignoramus, but you think it's a guy with a severe.
I mean, chances are he's just an ignoramus because so many people have done that stupidly over the years.
Yeah.
But at the same time, when someone has this thing added to it, it starts to look really suspicious. I mean, I just have to be honest. Dave, if you're Tennessee right now, because you need to protect yourself, do you pass a state law banning all college athletes from betting on the sport they're playing and say you face years in prison if you do it? Years.
Surely those laws are already in place for your own sport.
No, they're not. That's the problem. He's not arrested for gambling on the sport. He's arrested for underage gambling. There are no laws on the books about gambling on the sport you play, and this is the problem.
Well, I don't know that it should be illegal. It shouldn't be illegal. It's just immoral and get you kicked out of the sport. Why is it illegal?
I think Congress needs to step in and pass a law to say you can't. It's insider trading. It's insider trading. Dave, you can't insider trade. I mean, you're betting to bet on a sport.
I'm really good at it. I can.
To bet. Martha Stewart went to prison for a year because someone told her move your money, and she did it. And
Travis says I can feel the voice coming. I'll go ahead and tell you. You can mark this down. As sure as we'll get Caleb's voice, his voice within a week, I'm better than Martha Stewart at insider trading.
Oh, wow. Dave is incriminating himself. Wow. Y'all heard that?
I passed on insider trading.